Hi, my name is Darren Zupke, and I'm here with Emmali Ouderkirk. Today, we're going to be talking about our teacher, Judy LeClaire, and her 2017 live recording of Stravinsky's Pulcinella, recently arranged for bassoon and piano by Cornelia Summer. Thank you so much for joining me, Emmali. If you wouldn't mind, could you first tell me a little bit about your experience studying with Judy?
Sure. Uh, I'm now a first year master's student, so this is my fifth year studying with her. And I honestly can't imagine being anywhere else or studying with anyone else. She's been so incredibly supportive of me, which I always joke about, in recital speeches. I'm like, I can't thank you enough for your support, because that's always the thing she's telling us to do in lessons and stuff. But I really mean it. She's been like another parent to me. She's the kind of teacher that is always there for you. A phone call, a text. If it's midnight, she doesn't care. She wants to make sure that you're doing well personally, you're feeling good about the bassoon. If you need reed help, she's there to help you. I love her sound. She's the reason that I wanted to be a bassoonist in the first place, and so I think just all of that has just helped me feel really connected to her the past couple of years. So I'm really grateful to study with her and to be able to talk about this recording with you. And I'm pretty sure it was just a voice memo on her iPhone. And I really love that, because you hear all of these like produced recordings and she sounds fantastic, but she also sounds fantastic in this. And you can hear, the audience and the sirens and stuff that you wouldn't normally hear. But she always tells me, like, if you can make a voice memo sound good, you're really sounding good. And so the fact, like, you still hear all of the overtones and all the color and everything in her playing, even though it's like from a phone that's like many feet away from her. It's just so crazy to me. I might be a little bit biased, but I feel like of all of the Sweet Italians, this is just one that works particularly well, because I mean everything Stravinsky writes works pretty well on the bassoon. I think it's one of those stylistic things that makes a lot of sense. But there's just something about this. I know it's like originally in the strings, so you hear it for like violin and cello, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But just getting to hear it all on bassoon, it's a lot more fun to play. Than what we have written originally.
Yeah, it fits really nicely in the range for us, I think.
It does. It's got all of these quirky like trills and rhythmic things, but it's also just so much fun to start. It's so energetic. And
Yeah, it's definitely sort of like I said, the range, but I never felt recording this that it wasn't like too scary. It doesn't like there's only I think one part of this movement that gave me sort of a little bit of anxiety, and that was, not even getting up to the high D, but the bum ba-dum bum, like going A, B, C, D. Like those combinations are so tricky with the fingerings, and to do them so fast and smoothly, like my batting average for that was pretty low, and I found myself practicing that over and over and over and over again. I don't know what your experience was.
yeah, mine was pretty similar.
Yeah.
I really love this part, especially those high C's. When I was working on this piece, she was telling me to sort of think of them as like violin harmonics or something. But just her style of sort of supporting everything makes it such a clean and seamless jump through that octave, and you can hear that throughout the entirety of this first phrase. She really gets that spinning sound from the vibrato pulses that she and Kim both talk about all the time. Um, there's so much legato and just sostenuto in everything that she's doing. So I think it really captures the character of this part perfectly.
I agree. So when I was younger, I really loved her, like that orange CD that has the Weber Andante and Rondo, and I remember that was like that note specifically, her high C's, was like, I was just blown away by it because she just gets this ringing sound to it, and I could never understand like how she did it until later I studied with her, that it's really about opening up and supporting, and like you're saying, spinning the air. And I think I have to say that that's probably one of my favorite notes that she plays. I know that's like weirdly specific, but just her high C's are just incredible.
Yeah, her A flats too. In that section, also you can hear it. I think she always talks about like climbing the stairs with a support, and then she gets up to those A flats, and it's just so open and round and warm. Every measure of this movement is kind of stressful in its own way. I remember really struggling with it for a while. And she would tell me, the staccatos need to be feathery and not just like brutally short. And you have to control them with your support, but you can't like hit every single note from that necessarily. So it was really finding the right balance of that, and also a reed that would do it.
Yeah.
um, to figure that out, and thinking, how she always talks about like the first 16th note and then the three ones that follow it, and those are the leading notes. Putting the direction into these in that way was also really helpful for me when I was learning it.
Mhm.
This part really just encapsulates so many of her sort of philosophies about playing, because she always says like the second note of that slur, you have to really support and make that note more, and you don't hear it like that. You hear like the emphasis on the first note, but it just creates such a smooth jump. And then you have the two staccatos, and they're just so sparkly and crisp, and people never get like enough articulation on bassoon, even though it can be so pecky. But like to do it like this, it's so Stravinsky, and such a good contrast.